So, literally just last week in class, in Clarity, we were having a robust conversation about taking action on our dreams and the things we want to accomplish. And one of our students was super transparent about the fact that she struggles with fear. She wants to start her own business, she wants to be an entrepreneur, she wants a coaching company. But she's been hesitant because she says the what ifs is what gets in her head, the what ifs. And so she struggles with the fear of what if it doesn't work out? But she also struggles with the fear of what if it does work out? And those thoughts and those fears have played a major role in whether or not she's taken action on her goals. And what I imagine, because I know my audience so well, what I imagine is that several of you have had a similar experience with overthinking. Overthinking. And that's just one of the habits that we're going to be talking about today, myself and my team, to help you get unstuck. Right. So, you guys know here at Clarity at the Plant Protocol, we specialize in stress. We specialize in optimizing your health. But the thing that I love to dig into more than anything is the mindset and the habits that are keeping us stuck. And so, when it comes to overthinking, when it comes to people pleasing, and when it comes to settling, it has been our experience as coaches that those are some of the top three habits that really a lot of us struggle with. And so, I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys today what those things are and how it works. And I'm going to be bringing on my team as well to ensure that you understand what it takes to overcome it. So, the things that we're most excited about today is walking you through what it takes to overcome these habits. We all have our own personal stories. And so, we believe that our personal stories, our personal anecdotes, our experiences with people pleasing, and our experiences with overthinking and settling is going to help you to get unstuck if you struggle with those things as well. So, welcome to Monday Morning Keynote with yours truly, Coach Lisa. Y'all already know what it is. I'm sipping very heavy this morning because my whole team is with me and we're going to be talking some talk today. So, I'm super excited about it. And so, what you see, you probably see me on the screen. You might see Coach Milan. You might see Coach Regina. If not, I'll be bringing them all up in just a moment. But what are you sipping on? Let us know in the chat. So, y'all, uh, I'm a tea junkie. And so I made a grave mistake several months ago and I bought some tea from Home Goods. Now, first of all, I should have known it was a problem when I opened up the canister and it was just a gold bag full of tea, individual tea bags. They look like nothing, right? And I'm like, why did I buy this crap? So I have this really cheap tea. It's supposed to be like ginger and something else flavor from Home Goods that I had to mix with a higher quality tea today. So that's what I'm sipping on. So you guys, let us know in the chat. Are you geared up for today's conversation where me and my team are going to be breaking down three habits that are keeping you stuck? Good morning, Cheryl. What's up, Wanda? Wanda said lemon ginger. Honey, I got some bootleg lemon ginger over here today, Wanda. What's up? Hey, Malika. What's up, Rhonda? What's up, Lachey? What's up, Tamika? So good to see y'all all on. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm super excited. So I'm going to bring the girls up. I'm going to introduce them and we're getting into the conversation. Oh, Erica said I had carrot juice earlier. Let me tell you something. I bought some carrot juice from Trader Joe's last week. We went grocery shopping. All I'm going to say is it really tastes like carrots. I had to mix it. I had to mix it with some other stuff if I'm being honest, Erica. So more power to you this morning. You are better than all the rest of us, okay? Okay, so let me bring the team up. You might already see Coach Carmelle on the screen. Coach Carmelle is our specialist, our wellness integration specialist inside of Clarity, our community dedicated to the elimination of chronic stress. Now, what's so dope as I bring the team up and I tell you about them, not only are they specialists, they also have very specific traits that they specialize in that really helps our community with overcoming and combating chronic stress. And so as I bring them up and let them introduce themselves, I want to tell you the traits that they specialize in as well. So Coach Carmelle is our wellness integration specialist, and she specifically specializes in self-efficacy and addiction. Why are those things important when you're dealing with chronic stress? Well, because number one, Chronic stress often leads to unhealthy coping behaviors and coping habits like eating, drinking, smoking, binge scrolling. And so, Coach Carmelle specializes in addiction, specifically to sugar, actually, but she also specializes in self efficacy, which is simply our ability to believe in our ability to get out of a certain circumstances and get out of a state. So, she specializes in belief. Right. So, Carmelle, welcome to Monday Morning Keynote with yours truly. What's up, lady?
Welcome, welcome. Thank
What you sipping on, coach?
you. I am sipping on something that I found called coconut cream. Now, there's no cream in this, but it's a white tea and it has safflower in it and corn flour. I didn't even know that that was a thing. But they're
Cornflower.
full of corn flour and safflower
Wow.
petals. And it's a loose tea and um I have my own tea bag that I put it in, and I just brew it, and it's delicious.
That
And
is
because it's coconut, it has coconut pieces in it. It's kind of sweet, so I don't have to add anything to it. It has that coconut flavor. It's delicious. Anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, all the things, all the things.
of course it is, because we got to represent. I love it. Next up, coming up in the room is the one and only Coach Milan. Now, if you've been rocking with us in the challenge, in Farm to Table, in the Plant Protocol Business Accelerator for any amount of time, you guys probably know the one and only Coach Milan, who's been working beside me for many years now. Coach Milan is our health and mindset transformation specialist inside of Clarity, helps to optimize your body from the neck down and your mind from the neck up so you can make good decisions as you prepare to eliminate chronic stress. And Milan specifically specializes in emotional regulation and mental toughness. Coach Milan, welcome to Monday Morning Keynote. Are you muted, Milan? We can't hear you. She might be muted. Nope, still can't hear you. Can y'all hear her?
Nah.
Nope. Okay, Milan, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. I can't hear you, but hold on, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I got myself together.
There we go.
There we
I
go.
see me. You see
Okay.
me? Hey y'all, hey, I am Coach Milan. I'm so happy to be here. The type of tea I have is a hibiscus ginger situation going on with my butterfly mug. Okay. Me and my baby, we got matching mugs and I absolutely love it. Okay. But I'm so happy to be here and I can't wait to deep dive into this conversation today. Hey.
Yes. Hey, thank you so much, Coach Milan. And finally, coming up to the mic is one and only Coach Regina. Coach Regina is our accountability specialist inside of Clarity, and she specifically specializes in psychological flexibility and social connectedness. Now, why is that important when we eliminate chronic stress? Well, number one, psychological flexibility better helps you to cope and navigate when life is lifing, right? When we are tied in an unhealthy way to our outcomes and our expectations, it really hinders our ability to navigate when unexpected things happen. So, Coach Regina is a specialist in psychological flexibility and then social connectedness. Now, you guys heard me lecture, then you've heard me say that the number one indicator of health and longevity and wellness is social connections. And so, having that ecosystem and that support system makes a huge difference in our ability to navigate and eliminate chronic stress. So, welcome to Monday Morning Keynote, Coach Regina.
Hello, hello, hello. So glad to be here. And I am sipping on a little dandelion and ginger this morning.
Hey.
Listen, it's an anti inflammatory powerhouse up in here.
Team
Yes,
longevity.
no inflammation over here. We want to be crystal clear.
I'm talking about Crystal. I'm loving it. Okay, so listen, y'all. This ain't my first podcast. And if I'm being honest, this ain't my second. Okay, this is the Plant Protocol is my third podcast, but I want to bring back something from a previous podcast. So, my last podcast was the Black Health Academy podcast that I used to do with my bestie, Jay. And at the beginning of every episode, me and Jay would do this segment called Wait, What? And that is a segment where we will talk about something we either saw, heard, or experienced in the last couple of weeks that made us go, wait, what? And we thought it would be super fun to do a Wait What segment this morning with the girls. So, who wants to kick off Wait What before we get into all the seriousness this morning?
I'll go.
Okay, come on in, Carmelle.
So I was having a conversation with a friend, and she was telling me, I was telling her, I wish I could have a yard where I could plant my own vegetables, plant and grow my own vegetables. She was just like, oh, she lives in a community where she shares a yard with her neighbors, and she was like, yeah, one of my neighbors brought me some vegetables that she had grown in her yard, and I was just like, oh, were they amazing? I'm sure they were fresh. And she was like, I didn't want to use them. And I said, well, why not? She says, well, we have squirrels and cats in the yard, and they were probably all over it and peeing on it. I said, wait, what? What? What are you saying? She was like, I'd rather buy it from the supermarket. I'm like, and you know where it's been when you get it from the supermarket. Is that what you're telling me? That's my wait, what?
Listen, we've been industrialized, honey. I'm gonna need my fruits and vegetables out of a factory, ma'am, off the back of a truck.
How about that?
He said the rodent's been peeing on him. I cannot.
I couldn't believe she said that.
Never mind the amount. Like, do y'all soak y'all vegetables and fruit when y'all bring them home before? What do y'all soak them in to clean them off and get the film off?
So I soak them in vinegar water, and then I put baking soda on them, and then I scrub them bad boys these days. So it's a whole bath over here.
Yes.
Yeah, it used to take me a minute. I used to soak them. Now I have a really good brush, and I just run them on the water, and I just really do a good job at just scrubbing them. So I don't invest that much time into them anymore, especially when I buy organic. And most of the time, that's what I'm doing.
I use water and vinegar. Let them soak.
Yep, water and vinegar, a little baking soda. Sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I put a little lemon juice on there. See what happens.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. So there's a way to get off the road. And okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure that was avoidable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anyway. All right. Who else got away? What? Regina, you said you had one.
Oh yeah, it was so amazing. So I'm in the midst of working and planning for my 2026 conference. And I've been trying to catch up with a pastor for a full month. His secretary, the ministry assistant, nobody can lay hands on him. I said, tell y'all what, if you can just get me in the room with him. I don't need to be in his space. Let's set up a Zoom, whatever. So we were able to get a Zoom almost last minute last week. I'm driving down Highway 45. I'm in Mississippi, so I'm driving down Highway 45. And he said, we can talk at 3 o'clock. I said, well, wherever I am at 3 o'clock, I'm just going to pull over. Like, what? And because this is so powerful, getting a venue, you know how difficult it is to get a venue for an event. So I pulled over, found a cool place that I pulled over. Actually, it was like a little mom and pop shop, so I felt safe. So I pulled over. We was having a good conversation, explaining him what my vision is and how long I've been doing this work, plant-based. He actually shared his story about him being plant-based for a period of time. But honey, when we got to the conversation, I'm trying to figure out like how much it's going to cost. And I just laid it all out there for him. And he said, wait, I want to be a part of this. Like, and I'm like, wait, what? Not that I don't have to pay. So not only did he decide to host the event at no cost at his church, he wants to partner with my company to be a part of it. And that was like, wait, what? No fee? No what? Wait, what? Listen. It's like, wait. Ooh, yes, that was huge. That was worth putting over on the side of the road. I tell you that much.
God is amazing because Regina. So guys, so just so you know, like every week we have a team meeting, right? So we meet every Tuesday as a team, and so Regina has been updating us in the meeting, telling us that she's been searching for a venue for her event. So for you to get blessed, and let me just say this, guys. I spoke at Regina's conference this year, at her No Flinch Faith conference this year. Okay, earlier first quarter this year. She part of the reason I was burnt out this first quarter, right? Uh, and so she put on a phenomenal conference, had a phenomenal turnout. And, at the end of it, I'm like, what's up? What's next? Right. And so she's now in the planning stages for her 2026 No Flinch Faith Conference. And so this is amazing because it's a phenomenal effort, but also theme. Right. I think it's just such a big deal that we channel more energy into teaching people how to have faith to achieve their goals. So this is a perfect testimony leading into that. As a matter of fact, you might want to turn this into a message on the stage during the conference, just about like the room that you're sitting in right now, came from an act of faith. And so that's just amazing. So we're super proud of you. Dope.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let me get to my way what, and then we'll get into these 3 habits, y'all. So I graduated to being an adult last month. So I didn't even know. Okay. Let me tell y'all something. I was at home. So I was at home at my home in Detroit, and like I travel a lot and I'm not always there. And so I hadn't been there in a while, maybe over a month. And so apparently while I was gone, like the power had went out a few times from some storms that had happened in Michigan. And so I get home. So, like the clock is blinking on the stove,
Yeah.
and just indicators that the power done went out. No big deal. It's happened before. And so I'm like grocery shopping, got some groceries because I haven't been there. So when I'm not there, like the refrigerator is empty. I'm talking about tumbleweeds, right? So it was completely empty. So I'm like, I need some food because I'm going to be here for a while. So I went to the market. We went to the market, got food in the refrigerator. And then all of a sudden, the next day, like we open up the refrigerator and nothing is cold. And it seems like the food is like, it's room temperature is warm. And I'm like, oh man. And so I reach out to my dad and I'm like, dang, I think the refrigerator went out. And he's like, oh, if the power went out while you were gone, you just need to hit the circuit breaker thingy and like recharge the refrigerator or whatever. So I did that, hit the circuit breaker thingy, and the refrigerator started getting cold again the next day. I was like, we in business, because we had just bought this big watermelon. It's at the end of watermelon season, got this last sweet one. And so the refrigerator came back on and we were good. Then 2 days later, we opened the refrigerator again and the food is room temperature again. It stopped getting cold again. And so it kept doing it. And basically, we need a new refrigerator. I was like, never in my whole entire life have I ever needed a new refrigerator. This is like extra large, double XL adulting. Has anybody refrigerator ever went out? Like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to measure. I don't know how to shop. I don't know who sells refrigerators. Like, I've never had I don't know how to not have a refrigerator. Like, this is a adult type of problem that I don't know how to live with and exist with. So basically, my mom, before I left, I'm like, Mom, I gotta go. I gotta fly back south, and I'm not even about to be here, and I don't know how to deal with this. She was like, Lisa, just give me the measurements and I'll find you a refrigerator. Just calm down. And so I don't know if anybody else has ever had a major thing happen or go wrong that really made you feel like I'm really not a kid anymore. Like I literally have to figure out how the heck to buy a doggone refrigerator. It's shocking. It's literally shocking to me. To the point before I left, my mom was like, I went to Home Depot. I bought you a mini refrigerator. Come pick it up. I've already paid for it. Like, literally, I'm still being baby. This is how inept I am if I'm not on the mic. She's like, come, all you got to do is pick it up. They have the receipt and everything. Keep that in your house until I can find you a new refrigerator. So anyway, I just came to say, wait, what? A whole refrigerator? I didn't even know refrigerators could go out. I'm like, you're supposed to last my lifetime. So anyway, that's my way, what, y'all? The disrespect of a refrigerator going out is beyond me. So apparently I'm officially an adult. You guys all welcome me to adulthood. Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome. And your self-efficacy in that department has risen greatly.
what is this? My watermelon. I'm crying. My watermelon not cold. I mean, just turned into a 5-year old. So shout out to mom for helping me
Shout out to
navigate
moms.
adulthood. What'd you say,
Mom,
Regina?
A shout
mhm.
out to moms, because see, you gotta have a support system. You gotta have a support system.
Got to. I said, wait, what? The refrigerator? Now I don't even know what to do with that. I gotta go speak. I can't deal with this foolishness. So yeah, it was mad disrespectful. So anyway, that was my way. What? Listen, guys, let's get into today's topic. I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys before you share. Make sure you introduce yourself and tell the audience more about you today. But we want to talk about 3 habits that tend to steal our peace, disturb our peace as we're navigating life. We all have goals, which you may or may not know about the entire team here on the panel today, is that we're all entrepreneurs. We all have our own individual coaching companies. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful that everyone on this panel said yes to me when I asked them to join me in Clarity, our community. And they all said yes, despite having their own vision, their own goals, and their own companies. And I feel so blessed to walk alongside individuals who are living with integrity in their own personal health and their lifestyle, but then who also are masters, have developed mastery in their areas of expertise. And so I don't take it lightly. So first and foremost, just want to publicly say thank you, ladies, for saying yes to the invitation to join me in what is probably going to be one of the biggest challenges of my career, which is eliminating chronic stress for our people, because it is killing us slowly, and that goes right along a line with our vision of eliminating chronic lifestyle disease, these preventable things that we are all battling. And so thank you for that. Let's get into these 3 habits. So, we have identified 3 major habits that are keeping people stuck. And the first one that I want to talk about and bring to the table is overthinking. So, one of the things I've noticed as a coach, and I know all of you guys have noticed as a coach, is that a lot of times our clients can't move forward and they can't overcome limiting beliefs, or they can't pursue their goals with rigor because they still struggle with all of the thoughts in their head, all of their thoughts in their head. So, Carmelle, I'm gonna kick the ball to you first. Have you had that with your clients? I don't know if you've personally struggled with overthinking, but what has been your experience as a coach with overthinking, and especially within your specialty of self-efficacy, because you specialize in helping people gather the belief that they are capable of moving the needle when they're dealing with hard circumstances. So how does overthinking play into that?
Well, I love that question. First of all, when you asked me to be a part of Clarity, it wasn't a yes, Lisa. It was a hell yes. I just want to let the people know. That's number one. Number two, yes. So recently I was working with a client that so I have a 16-week course, and we were like easily 6 months in when he was like, Carmelle, I'm finally getting it. And I was just like, wait, so what were you doing for the last 6 weeks? Because he was showing up, but he was just like, Carmelle, I just couldn't put the pieces together. So there's some types of people that just trust the process and just go with it, especially when you drop some money on it and you're just kind of like, all right, Carmel, I'm in this. But for some reason, he was having a hard time. He was having a hard time connecting the pieces of it. And he was just overthinking it. Well, what does this have to do with this? And what does this have to do with my prediabetes? And why do I have to do this? And so he was thinking and overthinking, not necessarily sharing it with myself, until he pretty much had to learn it himself, or he started making the connections himself. So he lost about 6 weeks of actually uh, on his path to success. Although I can't even say that he lost the 6 weeks, because it was something that he had to go through himself. It was a transformation he had to go through and understand for himself, that I'm overthinking this. And if I just trust the process and just follow the guidelines that Carmel has given me, I'll just fall naturally to where I need to be. So that was, and I'm not a person who overthinks. So for me, I was just like, what is the problem? Why are you not where you need to be at this point? He wasn't sharing it with me, but I can see that he every week it was just kind of like, oh, I messed up again. I messed up again. I messed up again. But
Mm.
why? And finally, I got the reason why. He was overthinking it and not believing that one thing had to do with another. Like him sleeping 8 hours would help reverse his prediabetes or diabetes, actually full blown diabetes. So that was one of my that's my story about the overthinking aspect.
Yeah, you just said something that was really important, and so I want to make sure the audience caught it. Carmelle was referring to one of her clients dealing with diabetes, kind of overthinking plant-based lifestyle and the entire lifestyle regimen that she laid out for him to follow. One of the ways that we can combat our overthinking or a tendency to overthink is we get a coach or we seek wise counsel that already has a blueprint for us to follow, right? Carmelle had already laid out the steps to achieve the goal for him. So a lot of times when we are deciding to coach ourselves or trying to solve problems on our own, we're dealing with the problem and we're giving ourselves responsibility for the solution, and so we don't have guidance. And so one of the best ways to slow down or stop the overthinking in its tracks is to attach yourself to a blueprint, attach yourself to a proven strategy, attach yourself to someone who has already done what you're trying to do or who has already helped a ton of people do what you're trying to do. And so you can trust their information, right? Now that requires surrender, because a lot of us, we will get into spaces with coaches and community and wise counsel, and we will still allow ourselves to overthink. And I'm telling you, like, no, I've done this for 5 years. All you got to do is this, right? And so, but a blueprint, a proven strategy is always super helpful because you don't have to figure everything out yourself. You just have to give yourself permission to surrender to wise counsel. So thank you for that, Carmel. That's good. Regina, Milan, anything you want to chime in on this one?
I remember my mom, she always used to want to do a lot of stuff. Like she wanted to become a pastor at one time. She had like all these goals and dreams. And sometimes I remember my grandmother, she would chime in and say, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should wait on that, right? And I watched her like, second guess herself or looking for permission from her mother to do certain stuff. So when I became older, I just started noticing I was doing the same thing, and I was looking for my mom's permission to, start a nail salon. Milan, maybe you shouldn't do that. That might not be the wisest situation. Milan, maybe you shouldn't do that. So when I got married, it carried on to my marriage, and it will prolong me from doing stuff that I wanted to do until I met my husband, where he was like, when I lost the weight, I lost a whole bunch of weight. I started becoming radical obedient. So between my husband and Lisa, I'm killing it out here, right? So I would ask him certain stuff, and I was like, I want to become a coach. Can I do that? And I was looking for his permission to say yes. Yes, Milan, you could do it. And then I would re-ask him to make sure, no matter what the cost, you sure? Is this okay? It might be a couple of dollars. Is this okay? And he was like, we will figure it out. My husband's answer to everything is, we will figure it out. So with Lisa's radical obedience and his words of we will figure it out, stop my hesitation on going forward with my goals. So now I'm more, as soon as I get a thought, a divine download, I'm more likely to go towards that. And now I'm a coach. Now I have my own business. Now I'm on podcasts. Now I'm teaching fitness videos and things of that nature. And it's an overflow of everything now that I'm being radically obedient, actually saying yes to myself. So that's me and my overthinking.
Ooh, okay, I got 2 cents to add about that, but I'm gonna let Regina jump in if she has any in her 2 cents. Regina, you good or you got 2 cents?
Listen, let me let you go on with your 2 cents because I can get in here and I can dive deep. So I'm gonna let you, we ain't
So
got but an
good.
hour.
Right. How much
Right.
time we got? Let me tell you what you just described, Milan, which is my next recommendation for people who overthink. So you guys might not even believe this, but I have had a tendency of overthinking, but not in the same way most people overthink. So, from a coach's perspective, a lot of our students experience overthinking which prevents them from taking action. Historically, my overthinking has happened after I take action. So I don't have any problem with moving and doing the thing that God told me to do. Shout out to radical obedience again. So as soon as I get the divine download, I have no problem with doing the thing, with starting, write the book, turn on the YouTube, start the business, launch the coaching program, whatever it is, right? Not an issue for me. Starting is not an issue. But after the decision has made, I used to overthink now that I'm in the thing, now that I'm actively doing the thing, now all of the smaller nuanced stuff sometimes used to trip me up. But what Milan just alluded to is what changed the game for me, which is building my faith muscle. She said her husband constantly tells her, we will figure it out. When we will figure it out gets embedded into your subconscious, what Milan's husband, what Mr. Robinson was seeding into her was faith. That's what it was, right? He was seeding faith. And so the thing that stopped my overthinking, even though my overthinking never stopped me from taking action, but sometimes it caused me to question decisions that I have to make after I took the bigger action. Like the big decision, no brainer, launch the business. It'd be the small decisions after that. Should I get a team right now or should I wait? Should I do this type of offer or this one, right? And it was the faith piece. And so strengthening your faith muscle will significantly reduce the amount of overthinking that you do. You know, guys, I was listening to a podcast recently and Brene Brown was being interviewed. And you guys might know Brene Brown, huge figure, really, really popular. TED Talk is what blew her up. And she specializes in shame. And on this particular interview, the interviewer asked Brene Brown, like everybody is feeling really unsettled right now with like things going on with our government and the economy and the state of things. And how do you feel about that? And Brene Brown said, I don't trust anyone that's not unsettled right now, right? Because she's like, with all the stuff going on in the world, everybody should be unsettled. The way I disagreed was insane. Like I was doing uphill sprints in the park when I was listening to it, and I couldn't disagree more, right? She's saying, I don't trust anybody that's not unsettled. And in my experience, your level of unsettledness and your level of anxiety is correlated directly to your level of trust in God. And it's correlated directly to your level of faith. And so I said all of that to say, a lot of times overthinking, anxiety, worry about the future is correlated to how strong or how weak our faith muscle is, how strong or how weak our trust in God is. And so that work and really cementing my relationship with God and really building my faith muscle really, really, really turned down the volume on the overthinking. So that's my 2 cents on that. Come on in, Regina.
Listen, I just in the work with my client, she attended my conference this past year. Of course, you brought down the Detroit hat. You just kicked the door in Detroit style. She had been contemplating her health. Every female relative on both her mom and her dad's side were dying around the age of 56. And so she had been struggling. Do I invest in myself? Do I get what do I do? I'm doing blood pressure out the wazoo. And so she eventually, after my conference, decided to, you know what, I got to do something. And so when we had our onboarding call, she really talked about how long she overthought her health. Like you see the reality. These are all preventable things. And she finally made that decision to step out, as you say, step out on faith, because what I'm seeing is not beyond 56. And she had a grave fear that she wouldn't even make 56. And so her overthinking prevented her from getting closer to her health, improved health. But she's in a much better place, much, much better place. But that overthinking will keep you sick and unwell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we cannot overthink our health. Guys, it's super simple. Like Carmelle, if I was just to ask you right now, like, what's the system for getting healthy? Like, what would you tell people? Like right off the top.
Quit sugar.
Start there. You ain't even don't even come back in 2 weeks for step 2. Do that. and just come back. Milan, what would you say? Just right off the bat. What does it take to get healthy? What would you say?
Shift your mindset, work out, and find peace and joy.
Regina, what would you say, real quick? What's a
I'm gonna
formula?
get you some fresh fruits and vegetables. That's it. Fresh fruits and vegetables in a community. Two
That's it.
things. That's it.
Listen, we got a formula right there. Okay, quit sugar,
Pick one.
work on your mindset, fitness, and then find some peace and joy. Get into community and eat some fruits and vegetables. Like it was. So where's the overthinking coming from? You know what I mean? Like we like
Pick,
this is pick
pick
one.
one.
Pick
Pick
one.
one.
Yeah,
Pick
we got
something.
pick
And
something
commit. And commit.
and start. Amen. Okay, this is so good. All right, so let's move on to habit number 2 that's disturbing the peace for us. This one is so gigantic because I know my coach ET talks about it all the time, how he struggled for years with people pleasing. But also, it comes up in our communities a lot. It comes up in our coaching programs, it comes up among our clients with people pleasing. And then I know you guys have personal experiences with this. So I'm going to kick it off with Milan. Milan, people pleasing for you. How has that personally impacted you? And then how did you overcome it?
Okay, so I've never really thought about people pleasing until I used to hear people pleasing. I'm like, oh, that's not me. That's not me. And then I was running one day and I was like, oh, I did used to do that. That's what I was doing. So I like to help people. Anybody ask me anything, I would drop literally what I was doing to help you real quick. In my head, like I could do this for Lisa real quick. I could do this for Carmelle real quick. I can do this. Then all of a sudden hours have passed. I neglected my job, whatever I was supposed to do with my family, but I wanted to help that person. I wanted to show up for them. And then I would ask myself, like, why am I holding this person to a higher totem pole than myself? Like, why don't I have that sense of urgency to complete these tasks for myself? Right. And I had to sit back and think about that because it wasn't adding up. And when I did it, so my self-awareness, I became self-aware about that situation. And so I had to work hard to make sure that I take care of my business, myself first, and then follow suit with everybody else. That's my kid, my husband, my auntie, whoever, Lisa, whatever. Did I do my task for me first and move forward? That took work. Okay. That took a whole bunch of work, but it kept coming up. Why? And I feel like I've been taught that, like when you go to work, you make sure you go to work. When you help other people, you make sure you help your mama, you make sure you do, but nobody's have ever taught to take care of me. Right. When I had my daughter, it was all about my daughter. When I got married, it was all about my husband. And then I found myself overworked and underpaid, tired, fatigued, and all of that. But I didn't know until I got in communities like this to bring awareness of what I was doing. And I had literally had to step back and say, Milan, how do you put yourself first? So now that's how I start off my day. And when I don't, my whole day is off, right? I give myself hours of time to myself. I do my devotional, I go work out, I work on my business, then I holler at y'all. Okay. I don't answer my phone at a certain time. It's not that important. If it's not an emergency, I need to get my content out. I need to talk to my clients. I need to do this. I need to make sure I'm healthy enough to so my brain can work, so my body can move, so I can show up fully for my daughter. But I'm nobody's nothing until I'm Milan first. Nobody's wife, nobody's mom, nobody's coach. I handle me in the morning and then I handle the rest of y'all.
Yes, and that so it sounds like two things happened for you. Number one, it was awareness that I am a people
Mm-hmm.
pleaser because I didn't think I had a problem with that, and then after listening, learning more, I realized I did. So that's number one, awareness. Number two, it sounds like you noticed a pattern. It sounds like you noticed
Mm-hmm.
like when I didn't put myself first, my whole day everything flowed differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't to my standard or to my liking, and so I realized that the key. You guys probably have heard me say and teach honor the conditions in which you thrive. And so what Milan just articulated was the conditions in which I thrive is me first. Right. And so I start my day, I have a routine. I start my day, me first, and then everybody else gets what I have left over. So it
And
was a
then
decision.
I would ask myself, why am I not demanding excellence for myself as the excellence I'm delivering for everybody else? Because Lisa will always like, I deliver with excellence. And I'm like, why am I not delivering with excellence for myself? So when I started with me first, that's excellence all you get.
Ooh, Shout out to episode 76 on the Plan Protocol podcast. How do I have a spirit of excellence? Because one thing we're going to do is promote throughout. Amen. Okay. Carmelle, talk about
Uh,
people pleasing.
People pleasing. So interesting. Just like Milan, I didn't know I was a people pleaser, right? And it's not that I thought that other people were people pleasers and I just didn't think that I was one of them. I thought that that was the way you show up. You show up to please people because that's how I was brought up. It seemed like in the household that I grew up in, my mother was always striving to please people. The way we spoke, the way we showed up, like I was brought up to please others.
Mm,
And we're not going to get into where that comes from being black folk, but it definitely comes from someplace, right? So only just like Milan said, when I found myself in community, when people were like, why do you have to do the thing that you just said that you have to do for somebody else? Like, why? I started really like asking myself the question, like, yeah, what? Like, why? I remember I was 20 nothing years old, right out of college, my first job. And my boss, it's 5 o'clock, it's quitting time. I'm about to leave. And my boss was like, Carmel, could you hang out till after my meeting? And I was like, I gotta go home. I don't know. At 20 nothing, what was I going home for? Nothing. But I was just like, it's 5 o'clock. I'm ready to go. And I was like, I'm going home. And he looked so disappointed. So my colleague was like, Carmel, I would stay if I was you, as she walks out the door. So what did Carmel do? Carmel stayed because I'm a people pleaser, right? Undiagnosed people pleaser. And after his meeting, he comes out and he sees me. He looked confused because I already told him I was going. And there was no, Carmel, thank you for staying. There was no, oh, you're awesome. There was no, you got a raise. I didn't lose my job either. Like, I was just like, well, what was all that for? Like, what was that for?
mm,
And I feel like I have stories upon stories upon stories of me doing something because somebody else wanted me to.
mm,
And then it came to the point where I was an entrepreneur. I owned a business and now I was the boss. So now I was just kind of like, why aren't people bending over backwards? Like, why is my staff not bending over backwards to please me? Right. So there was that too. I was just like, oh, well, Carmel, this is not the norm like you thought it was going to be, like you thought it was supposed to be. I was a full adult maybe 5 years ago. Actually, it was. I found myself in community through the pandemic when everybody was just kind of like trying to gather together. And that's when I realized, oh, Carmel, no. You have to take care of self and you
mm.
put self first. And guess what? Everybody's gonna live even if you say no. They're gonna
Everybody's going to
live.
live. Like, ain't nobody canceling Christmas.
Mm-mm.
I'm not that important. Calm down.
Listen, and you know what I heard you say too, Coach Carmel, which is very, very important, is people pleasing. It's already it can be dangerous in and of itself if it's an unhealthy amount. Because I too agree with you that we are supposed to please people, like what you said in the beginning. Like I thought that was, being a good human, which I think is a thing, right? We just got to please the right people. But the other thing that you said, which kind of makes people pleasing hurt and sting even more, is when there isn't the reward on the other side of it. Like he didn't appreciate it. I didn't get a raise. There wasn't like, it was just like, I went out of my way to do something to exert more energy, effort for somebody else. And it didn't even fall in an appreciative place, right? There wasn't. And so that can make it even worse. Like you have some people who are just like, you have no idea. I need it. Thank you so much. And they make you feel like, okay, this was a little inconvenient for me, but they totally appreciated it. And
But it's two-sided, that appreciation. Yeah.
exactly. It's mutually beneficial. And
Mutual.
because there's going to be moments where we absolutely should inconvenience ourselves in service to others.
Right.
The issue is when it's chronic inconvenience, right?
Yeah.
So it's not to say that things don't happen in people's lives and they need us. And that wasn't our plan for that day. That wasn't our plan for that week. That wasn't our plan for that year. And sometimes just as good humans, right, we put our needs aside for other people. That is a thing that we should do. But when we do it to the extent that it begins to compromise our health, our well being, our joy, and our peace, because we do it constantly where our needs are never being properly met, that's when it becomes problematic. And so, to your point, when it's met with appreciation and acknowledgement because somebody understands that you did go out of your way to do something that
Yeah.
wasn't your first choice, right? That changes the game. So that was good, Carmel. Regina, people pleasing.
Listen, your girl didn't think I'm in line. It's just a testimony to this morning. I didn't realize it really until what I came to know was my raising my hand all the time. I realized that was me saying that I'm valued. So I associated me doing all these things with people appreciating what I was doing, coming back
Mm,
to what you was just saying. And taking on when you're in leadership roles in your company, there's a certain unwritten rule that says you're on call when you're not on call. There's an unwritten rule that says you're available 24/7, even though you work 8 to 5, even though your compensation you're not being compensated for. But there are these unwritten rules. And so, in order to not let anybody down, I showed up, raised my hand. And when you're influential and when you have integrity, your team do the same thing. So I ended up having my team being depleted, not valued. And so we turned all of our dependability into devaluation. And so showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up. The cost of peace, the cost of when I do take off, I'm still taking my cell phone with me. You still showing up. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let my team down. What if they need something?
mm,
And so the hardest thing as a leader in my household, even outside of a 8 to 5 responsibility, is saying, you know what, I'm valued even if I don't raise my hand. There is really nothing left to prove. I am valued. I show up and I'm an asset just because I show up. I don't have to keep volunteering to say and take on all the extra duties because every extra responsibility I took on, here it is, here it is, wait for it. They gave me more. They gave my team more.
oh,
And so that is the biggest. So I don't have no regrets. I absolutely do. My biggest regret is that I taught my team how to be over dependable.
Mm.
mm,
If that's
Yeah.
such a thing, let that catch that in your spirit. Like there's a spirit of excellence, but then I was so in tune with what the needs were. We don't want to let nobody down, but then we are so dependable and we become deflated and we become devalued. We don't take time off. Even when we're off, we're taking our cell phones, we're taking our work computers. It got to the point where I start to have to think about this, pump the brakes. I'm not taking my cell phone. Do not call me after 5 o'clock. And then start to train and develop my team to unwire all of this because we're so dependable. We our name is on the line. We got the little piece of pride, that little pride. My name on the line. So we want to look good.
yeah.
I tell you what. I tell you what. 6 figures cannot replace 6 feet.
Mm,
Mm.
So I had to really step back, help my team to start to reprocess. We do not have to always be available. But that was hard because I had trained them. We stepping up, we going all in, we going all in. But at the cost of what?
mm,
At the cost of what? So the hardest thing, starting to pull back, starting to say no, and for me being able to start to take off work. Listen now, without taking your cell phone and then not having your work phone sending over to your personal phone. So
listen.
that was the hardest thing for me, like in the level of people pleasing as a leader. I've been a leader in administration, with my when I was working for over 20 some years in leadership capacities. And I always felt the innate desire to show up and give all and then some. Because there's even a poem that says and then some. So here we are.
Yeah. Oh man, let me tell you something. I throw this paper towel at you. Let me tell you something. Two things. First of all, man, the power and the importance. You took it to another level, Regina. You took it to another level because now we're talking about the people whom we have influence over. So if you're not a boss, I need you to listen up if you're a parent. If you're not a parent, I need you to listen up if you're a spouse. If you're not a spouse, I need you to listen up if you're a ministry leader. If you're not a ministry leader, I need you to listen up if you ain't the only one that live on your block. Baby, somebody's watching.
Mhm.
Somebody's watching. Regina just took it to a whole new level. She said, not only did I struggle with people pleasing, but because I had influence over a team of people, I inadvertently turned them into people pleasers. I'm just trying to figure out why ain't nobody else throwing paper towel at the screen. Like, I need you guys to understand how dangerous it is to be in these streets with divine responsibility and be unhealed.
Yeah.
What? To have to be blessed with influence over other people, to be blessed with the role of leadership, but to be unhealed. And now all of our unhealedness trickle down into the people we are in service to. That
That's
is
the
a
wrong type
big
of
deal.
overflow.
Yes. What'd you say, Milan?
That's the wrong type of overflow.
Wrong type of overflow.
Right.
I'm talking about the wrong type. Amen to that. Regina, thank you for that. That was so good. As a matter of fact, I think I have been guilty at this at one point too, because people, for some reason, didn't believe I slept and rested. Right, right. Oh, we see you all the time, right?
Oh,
And so let me tell y'all what happened last year, Milan. You remember this? Like we were,
Oh,
I think we were facilitating a cohort of farm to table, right? And Milan, you did what?
when you asked me, you said something about somebody had to order me some food. I can't wait to sleep or something. Something. What you say?
No, that ain't what I'm talking about. Okay,
That
never
wasn't.
mind.
Oh, okay.
That's
My
definitely
bad.
not
My
it.
bad.
No, last year we were facilitating a cohort of farm to table, and I think you came to class sick. Do you remember that?
Yes.
mm.
And then what did
Yeah.
you say? I said, "Why you come to class and show up and teach if you're not feeling well?" And what you say? You remember?
No, I don't remember what I said because I had to, or I feel what I say.
Something along those lines, just like, no matter what, like we do, this is what I said I'm gonna do, or something like that. And I was like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Something like I'm expected to be here. I'm gonna show up. This is, whatever
yeah,
you ask me to do. It's
yep,
not no.
yeah, this is what a good, coach, this is what a good teammate does, this is what a good whatever does. And I said, don't you ever. I said, next
Mm.
time you reach out to me and tell me you're not feeling well, and I will cover for you. Somebody on the team will cover for you.
Yeah.
And I think I inadvertently taught Milan that, right? Like I teach the importance of showing up and being integrous with your word, but not to your own detriment, right? And so if you're not feeling good, if you have a cold, whatever it is you don't show up. Like, you get to put yourself first. I'm gonna put you first. Right. And then I also ask my team, like, are there certain days that are off limits for you? Are there certain times that are off limits for you? Like, your family comes first. Like, I remember recently, you guys will meet her when you come into Clarity, but our other coach on the team who's responsible for client and engagement and experience is Coach Tiff. And just a couple of weeks ago, Coach Tiff was sending her daughter off to college, and she's like, okay, Lise, we gotta drop Tally off at college. We gotta move her in. It was the day that me and Tiff normally meets, and she's like, so maybe we can move our time. I was like, no, we'll move the day, Tiffany. This is a big deal. You know what I mean?
Your
Like,
part. It's
you're
your
sending.
part.
I'm like, you and your husband are moving your daughter into university. How about the meeting is canceled, right? And so, to Regina's point, like, as leaders, it is my responsibility, it is our responsibility to make sure we're exemplifying those principles that do honor self-care, that do honor not overdoing it and stretching ourselves so much. And so I try and demonstrate to the team, like, no, your family comes first for me too, not just for you. Like, it's not, yes, it's your responsibility to advocate for your time and your family, but as a wise healed leader, I'm also going to advocate for the space for your time and your family and your healing and your wholeness and your time off, right? And so that's a big deal. So thank you for bringing that leadership piece in, Regina. Let's get into number 3, settling. Oh my God, Carmelle.
Settling. I want to give
Yes.
two quick examples of settling. One,
Okay.
how I settle myself. Number two, how I used to allow my clients to settle.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, with the settling piece, and it's something that I really learned about myself quite recently. I was involved in a bodybuilding competition, and I said, I'm going to be 50, I want to cross the stage. And that's exactly how I used to put it. That's exactly how I did put it. I said, I'm going to be 50, I want to cross the stage at a bikini competition or a bikini show.
Yeah.
I never really used the word competition because in my mind, I felt like I didn't want to be in competition with the other women, not because I'm just going to show up for self, but because I didn't think I could
Mm.
compete with those other women. I didn't feel like I had it in me to compete with other women. I've never been much of a competitor, never really grew up in organized sports, so I never felt good enough. So I always settled with just showing up. And it was chronic for me. And it was exemplified when one day my girl, my bikini bestie, I call her Leslie, was like, well, Carmel, why can't you win? Why not you?
Yeah.
She is you. Why can't you be she? Like what? Like what? Why are you settling for? I just want to cross the stage. I don't have to win. I was like, thank you, girl. Because I was always just settling. I showed up and that's enough. I don't have to win anything. And I really don't. But that it was the I was approaching it in the wrong way. I was not approaching it in the idea that I know I did my best. I was approaching it, yeah, I'm gonna do my best, but I'm not good enough to compete with those other women. But by the time I did win first place, it was my second competition. I got there and I looked at these women. I said, these women in my age group look phenomenal. And I said, well, girl, you do too.
That's it.
And I knew I was going to walk away first place. And I did. And I did. And part of it was the belief in me, somebody giving me permission to
Mm.
not settle. Don't settle because you're that bitch. Can I say
Oh.
that? I'm just
No,
We try not to curse on the podcast, Carmel.
I'm sorry. The New York came out of me.
Colette, if you're listening, please bleep that out. So, okay, so but before just being on the stage, just crossing the stage was enough. You decided not to settle for letting being in the room be good enough. What's your other example of settling?
My other example of settling is I would coach clients and I would be like, well, this is what we do. I'm plant-based, but you don't have to be plant-based.
Mm.
We'll just like work around that. And if I would say, listen, no sugar, they'd be like, I have to give up sugar. Well, all right. So do you take sugar in your coffee? I'll allow you 1/2 teaspoon of sugar in your like nonsense, nonsense. And I found myself, thankfully, very, very early doing that. And I'm like, well, no, Carmel, because you know that doesn't work. It didn't work for you when I said, let me just kind of like ease into it. I know that psychology says that we have to dive right in, all the things, and we have to create habits, and we can't create new habits if we keep nurturing the older habits that we're trying to release ourselves from. So I used to do that with my clients too. Let them settle. Like we'll just settle here, and then we'll see how it goes in 2 weeks.
So, what made you stop?
I realized that that's not going to work. It didn't work. That's not how it happened for me. In
Mm.
fact, I was still living in a way that I wasn't showing up with full integrity, where I was still settling myself when I first started coaching. I was still kind of giving myself that leeway because the addiction was still speaking to me. So for me to let go of sugar was hard. So how do I ask my clients to let go of sugar? And I had not done that myself.
Bingo.
But until I did, and I realized that that's where we achieved the success, I demanded that from my clients as well.
Ooh, listen. How to have a spirit of excellence. Rule number one, start with yourself, right? It's impossible to demand excellence from other people if you haven't demanded it from yourself first. And so, Carmel, you just spoke to that so beautifully, which is like, I allow other people around me to settle because I was still settling. But when I stopped, right, I was bold enough to demand more from my clients.
100%.
Oh, okay. Settling. Well, anybody else got 2 more cents on settling?
2 more cents on settling. I had a recent opportunity where I was asked to facilitate the nutrition piece for this organization. So I'm used to just taking what people give me. Like, I don't have to counter the offer. I don't have to ask for more. I don't have to ask any questions. I'm just okay, whatever. I'm just happy to be here. I'll do whatever. And then she was like, "You can take time to think about it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll do it." But I was like, "Wait." Lisa always tell me to slow down and think about it. So you don't have to make. I literally was talking to myself like this. Lisa said, "You have to slow down, think about it, because you move too fast sometimes, Milan. Take your time." And I was still telling, I'm pretty sure I'll do it. I'm pretty sure I'll do it. But I'm going to think about it. I thought about it for 4 days. Do you know my brain started moving and creative juices started flowing? And I felt like I was settling in that moment because I was just going to take what she gave me. Do you know, I was like, do you know I got a whole entire program for this that you can license out? Let me write you up a business proposal and propose that. And then I started second guessing myself. Then what if she says no? Then I said, what if she does? What if she don't say no? What do you want? Ask for what you
Yeah.
want and go with that. I wrote that up, sent it. My husband was like, there you go. I was like, yep, bam. I don't know what's gonna happen. I pray it on let go and let God and call it a day. But I asked for what I want, and either she gonna take it or somebody else is gonna take it. But I will not settle anymore. I'm gonna go for what I want under no conditions because I deserve it. I am worth it. Like literally, God gives me. I lost all this weight, and since I lost this weight, my visions have been so clear and crystal.
Yeah.
Crystal. Lisa
Yeah.
be like, do you know you were a visionary? I said, what is that? That's me. That's what I'm doing. That's what it is. Literally, God has told me exactly what I'm supposed to do in the order, what I'm supposed. All I got to do is follow the path. I ain't asked the how, the what, the way, the who, nothing. But I literally just go with that. And I literally sat there in that moment. I said, now this makes sense. You go to her with that proposal, and there you go. And if she takes it, great. If somebody else takes it, too, I'm good with that, and it's a learning experience, and my signature program will only get better, and I will be able to help more people.
Mm.
I wouldn't have thought of that in that me just taking the first, oh, I'll do it. I would have
Pause.
missed
Yeah.
out.
Show us, Milan, show us one more
Yeah.
time how you wrote it up.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And as days kept going, it got worse, like in a good way. Like, oh, but then, okay, yeah. So let me put my hair back. Okay,
Yeah,
it was
that's such a good lesson because that's definitely my lesson about settling is sometimes one of the reasons we settle is because we are our pace, our natural pace. So me and
Mm.
Milan, we have natural, really fast paces, right? And so we make decisions super quick and take action super quick. It's a yes, it's a go, let's get it. And so the reason I recognize this in Milan, because I used to be that way until I got control over it. Moving fast is a superpower, but every superpower can become dangerous if you don't know how to use it. And so
Mhm.
one of the things I've been coaching Milan through is her pace when it comes to certain things, right? And so a willingness, if you have made a habit of settling in your life, one of the ways that can help with that, if you're a naturally quick mover and a fast action taker, is actually slowing down a little bit. For some people, it's the opposite, right? They move too slow to their own detriment. But if you're a person whose pace is naturally really fast, slowing down a little bit is important. One of the things that often settling and moving fast often does too is it compromises your excellence, right?
Mhm.
Because you move so quickly that the quality of your work is compromised. Or to Carmelle's point, you just make getting it done the goal versus getting it done with excellence the goal. right? So before, when Carmelle was talking about her competition, it's like just getting it done was the goal. I just want to cross the stage. But then, shout out to Coach Leslie, poured into Carmelle, and Carmelle was like, you know what? I don't just want to get it done. I don't want to just cross the stage. I want to get it done with excellence, which means taking home a medal, right? And so quality is compromised if we move too fast, and also if we have made settling okay in our mindset. So thank you so much for that, Milan, because it's super important that we sometimes, the other thing I'll say that you just articulated in case people missed it was, I was used to saying yes to any offer that somebody gave me. And while Milan was talking about business, sometimes we say yes to offers in all type of areas, in our relationships, right? We say yes to offers in our friendships, in on the job, in all types of areas, right? And what I'll say too is it also can stem from a lack mindset. I don't want to make a counter offer. I don't want to write a business proposal for a bigger offer, make a bigger proposal because I'm afraid of losing this opportunity. And I believe if I speak up for myself and say what I really want, then I'm going to run the risk of losing this opportunity altogether. And I'm here, spoiler alert, you're right. And that means that you have to be okay with that. I either am going to take everything that's offered to me, or I'm going to start speaking up for myself, making counter offers if what's been offered is not exactly what I want. And I am willing to run the risk of not getting the opportunity at all, as opposed to settling for something that I didn't want in the first place. And so there is absolutely a level of acceptance that comes with speaking up for yourself as opposed to settling for something that somebody offers you.
Yes.
And if I wouldn't have sat and thought about it, I wouldn't have gotten that feeling. And that feeling was irreplaceable. Like now I know what I'm going for. Like now I know what it's gonna look like when I get it. Because
Mm.
I'm going to get it. But had I just sped up and said yes, that whole process would never. But now I know what to do. Now what I know what
Yes.
I'm looking for. Like now I'm about to show. Like I'm about to go get it. Period.
Yes. And you
Like
allow God to show you that
yeah.
there's another opportunity if you don't take that. Like you don't even give God a chance to work if you are
Mm.
constantly settling with everything that's thrown at you.
Mm.
Write
Good.
that down. That's a shirt. That's a
That's a
shirt.
shirt. Y'all swear it's gonna be paragraphs on our next shirt.
God, you
You
ain't
don't
give
even
God
give God the
a
chance to show
chance
you
to.
what's really possible if you always say, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, can I get an extra large? It's too much.
Get a QR code.
Right. You scan this for the message of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Turn around. Turn around. What it
Right.
say?
And
Okay.
what it say on the side? If you had settled, then that would have never had happened if you had admitted, listen, shut up, Milan. Everything don't need to be a shirt. Okay, Regina.
I'm gonna listen. It's the forever voice in your head and creating an exit and an enter strategy. Come on, Coach Lisa, give it up, give it up, give it up. So I talked about not knowing that I was a people pleaser. And then I also did not recognize that I was settling. And so
Mm.
you can be good at what you do. I've been in state government. Shout out to the grace of God and shout out to 27, 28 years. Well, really 27 years served. And because I had some wellness in my purview, I had a year of time. So I actually retired a whole year early. And so where I'm going with that story is I could have settled
Mm.
and stayed in my career because it was moving forward and forward and forward on the 8 to 5 with the W-2. However, when your ecosystem shifts and we stop normalizing what's not normal, we begin to normalize creativity, we begin to normalize an excellence, radical obedience, faith, stepping out on faith and operating in it, opposed to I'm doing well at my job, I'm leading a phenomenal team, best team in the company hands down, We went from a two-party show to a 15 suite, entity that offered everything that was needed and then some. And so I could have settled with good. However, greatness awaited me.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so, what I'm seeing now on the other side of not settling, because of my ecosystem, I created an exit strategy. I didn't know, I didn't have words for it, but your ecosystem will give you language.
Right, right.
Language matters, they will show you what's possible. And I latched on to my possibility model.
Mm.
And that's Coach Lisa A. Smith. I'm not going to get choked up, but if I do, y'all bear with me. I met Lisa in October of last year and talked about a proximity model of all the things. And so understanding that you don't have to settle, even when you're good at what you do not have to settle.
Mm.
And to be able to go from, again, the epitome of what people perceive to be success in my career as a director of, I've been directors in leadership roles for years. And so that was not going away. So much so, I was on track. I was a LMSW on track to take my LCSW. So only going higher as a licensed, professional. However,
Mm.
my assignment is bigger than the 8 to 5 brick and mortar.
Ooh.
And I was not aware of that until I shifted
Mm.
intentionally. Let me just say that it's not osmosis, okay? It has to be an intentional effort in shifting my ecosystem, communities that were thriving, watching a person of excellence who showed up every single week, every environment. This is what you get Sunday to Sunday. This is not just game day hype, being able to show up in that way. And so realizing that no, settling is not my destiny,
Mm.
because Lisa had a commercial, little advertisement, little YouTube video, and I ran amok on that thing. It said, I will not be a hidden figure.
Mm.
That resonated so deeply with me because here in the South, it's normalized that we're unhealthy, but I will not be a hidden figure for the state of Mississippi and for the nation at large and worldwide, because I'm on track with a team of coaches who are dedicated to becoming not only public figures, but now historical figures in optimizing health.
Yes.
We cannot settle, y'all. We cannot settle. And so for me, staying 8 to 5 would not have given me the flexibility to do what I'm able to do now. That
Mm.
is to be able to show up with my voice in community that I can speak freely about this gospel of health, period.
Yeah.
Come on now. Community, possibility models, trusting. Let me tell you, Regina just said it, but I want to, y'all know me. I want to make sure y'all caught it. Who's at the highest risk of settling? And it is the people whose circumstances are bearable. It is the people who are good. Like, unbearable is your highest chance of movement. But when
Yeah.
you're good, when things are mostly okay, y'all know what language I like to use even more specifically, when things are not that bad, that's
Mm-hmm.
when you're at the most risk of settling with your partner and your career and your health. Like, I need to lose weight, but at least I'm not that bad. Ooh, that gets you every
Mm.
time. It gets you every time. But not that bad is the most dangerous place to exist if you're somebody who truly desires more.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that truly desires more, not that bad will handicap you for years. So, what Regina just said is that, like, we were good, but who knew that there was even more waiting for us? So don't let your good, become the enemy of your great. It's a really dangerous place. Here's the last bit I'll say about settling as we begin to wrap up. And then, ladies, I want to hear just like one piece of advice you would give to the listeners, because everything we're naming today is scary, right? Not settling, going for more when you're technically good, things aren't that bad. right? People pleasing, starting to speak up for yourself, tell people no, make time for what's important to you, and then not to overthink when you like having the courage to stop your thoughts in their tracks and take back your power. All of that is scary stuff. And so I
Yeah.
would love to hear. I don't want to, we're having a candid conversation, but I don't want to give the impression that because we've worked through these things that we think it's easy. I understand the level of difficulty that we're calling you guys to. However, I need you to understand the level of difficulty that accompanies disobedience. And
Yeah.
so if you've gotten a revelation during this hour and 12 minutes that we've been talking, I need you to understand the responsibility that comes with revelation. Right. Once you are keen to something and it is clear to you that, oh, this is an issue for me, or this has been what's been stopping me from living my best life. Now you have a responsibility that comes with that revelation. But before you give your final takeaways, ladies, I'm going to let y'all end the show. I want to end with mine. If you've been listening to this today, and specifically when it comes to settling, I have one very, very, very short piece of advice. Your life is not a Zoom call. Your life is not a webinar. Your life is not a YouTube live. What does that mean? You don't have to wait for permission to speak up. You can unmute yourself. You don't need anybody to unmute you. And the issue is so many of us have been living in virtual platforms for so long, and so many people telling us, raise your hand to speak. Oh, wait, wait, wait. We got our settings turned off. I got to unmute you before you can speak. You guys are going back to your real lives and staying muted. So, if settling has been a problem for you, if people pleasing has been a problem for you, if overthinking has been a problem for you, I need you to unmute yourself. Your relationship is not a Zoom call. The office is not a Zoom call. Your business is not a Zoom call. You need to start stating and claiming what you need to live optimally. Period. Come on in here, Carmelle.
That was powerful. This whole conversation was. And I feel like what my parting words might be based on everything that we've all said on these three that we would need in order to really walk in the path of what we know that we can do, what we are destined to be, who we are destined to be. It isn't easy, but I feel like one of the first things we have to do is make a decision. And sometimes making the decision forces us to come to terms with not only what I want to do, but what I know that I'm meant to do.
Mm,
And sometimes with life coming at us from all different directions, we don't feel like what you said, Lisa, we don't feel like we've been given the permission to do just that because too many people need me and I've already committed to certain things. And it's about committing yourself to you, but that word commit doesn't sit well with many people. So I
mm,
want to say dedicate
mm,
yourself to you and your passions and what you know that you are meant to do here in this world. And it's not easy because once you do that, then once you make that true decision and not a wobbly one, was let me just see how this goes. Like that used to be me too. And that makes sense based on everything that I shared here with you today. But really decide and dedicate ourselves to that decision. Once we do that, then we'll find that we have no choice but to just align ourselves with everything that promotes us forward to that decision. And we have to make a conscious decision to say no to everything that doesn't align to that decision. And that's what I want to leave us off with.
Yeah.
decisions and conscious decisions. I love that. Thank you. Milan.
So this whole journey and how I was able to overcome a lot of this stuff is self-awareness, right? And becoming real familiar who I was and who I wanted to become. And what I learned throughout this journey was is that I can't take my old lifestyle into my new lifestyle because my old me will not survive at
Mm.
all. Right. Once I realized that, she had to go. She could not come back because I wanted bigger and greater for myself, for my family. And how I move and how I groove affects literally everybody. It's contagious. And I wanted the best for not only myself, but for my family. So the people pleasing, overthinking, and the other one, they all had to be addressed one by one because these were layers of my greatness that needed to be revealed so I can be successful and become the healthiest version of myself. So you can't take that old girl, the old girl with you. She not gonna survive. She ain't even gonna know what to do. But when I get there, when I'm here, I knew that I arrived, right? And then it was contagious because Lisa came, Regina came, Coach Carmelle came, Kiwi came, Tiffany came. I can name a whole list of people. We was all on the same page,
Yeah.
all on the same page. I would never turn back. And guess what? My daughter is gonna learn the exact same thing from my healing process. Period.
Oh, not trickling it down. Come on now.
Drip, drip.
Not drip, drip. Now that we could put on the shirt. The rest of that was too much. Um, drip, drip. If you know, you know. That's all it's gonna say. Drip, drip. Uh, talking about generational over here, honey. Before Regina comes in, y'all, if you got questions or takeaways, start dropping them right now in the chat. We are gonna stick around, and any ladies that need to hop off, you guys can. But it will. I'll definitely stick around for a few questions, comments. If there was something that hit home for you today, and you want us to expound on it briefly, please begin dropping your questions and takeaways in the chat. Regina, what you got for us?
I'm gonna give us some practicalities right quick. So for me, the settling, one of the things I learned from you, Coach Lisa, and that is set a non-negotiable. And so when you set your standard, give your health an assignment, what are your career or your relationship, stick with that non-negotiable. And when you're having trouble with your non-negotiable, who are your people? Who's in your ecosystem that you told about it? That's gonna help you. Uh, Push back from what's not serving you. Separate yourself. Create your non-negotiable, whatever that is. And then for that overthinking, 5 minute decision making. You got to give yourself 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but set a time frame to analyze that thing. Don't mull over 3 days later. You still praying about it, and God gave you the answer 6 days ago. Okay, He gave you the answer before you got on your knees. So create a time frame, make a choice, one action, and go with it. Give it a chance. And then for people pleasing, what I talked with one of my clients about who was just always doing that. I said, start practicing with me. Ask me, I'm going to ask you something. You tell me no on this call
Mm-hmm.
because she had never told anybody no before. So let's just start practicing your no,
Wow.
building up your no muscle in a safe environment. And
Yeah.
so no, and I tell people, no is a complete sentence, but if you don't have that in you yet, you might need to practice with somebody in a safe environment. Then you can start saying, well, that doesn't work for me, but thanks for asking. But you don't have that capacity yet. I got
Mhm.
that big girl capacity, but the people that we serve, they're not there yet. So,
Yeah.
for practical standpoint, start practicing in a safe environment.
That's such a good piece of
Yeah.
advice. We, inside of Clarity, one of the tools that we give our students in order to manifest the life that they want is the power of visualization. And we teach the science behind visualization and why visualization is so important. And so practicing goes right along with seeing yourself doing a thing before you do it, right? So visualize yourself saying no, thank you, turning it down. Visualize yourself taking up space. Visualize yourself demanding what you want. And demanding doesn't mean you're nasty, doesn't mean you're rude, right? But it's all about taking up space for what you need so that we can stop settling for lives that are not our first choice. This has been so rich. This has been so rich. I think you guys might be invited back. Look at that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, okay.
Guess who just got promoted to a second
Wait,
episode? Okay. Y'all better
Lisa
come
and
on
the
in.
angels.
Lisa and the angels. You hear me? That was
Yes,
amazing.
ma'am.
So rich. We got so much love throughout this live in the chat. This has been wonderful. This is so good. So we want to thank all of you guys for chiming in. I don't see any questions. And so we don't have any questions, but we'll as we wrap up and as this concludes the first part of our live, and as we move on to wrap up, I just want to remind everybody that, number one, chronic stress kills. Number two, purpose heals. Number three, you have more power and credit that you're giving yourself, right? And so you can take more ownership over your life, but it starts with doing the hard work and making the tough decisions around, the overthinking, allowing your thoughts to run away, right? With the settling, with the people pleasing, right? I think Milan said it best. She said one of the things that did it for her was developing self-awareness. And so
Mm.
what we didn't share with you guys at the beginning of this episode, just a super fun fact, was everyone on here, Milan, Regina, and Carmelle, have all come through our programs at the Plant Protocol. They've either been in our business accelerator. Now, Milan, she been in everything. She done took Win the Table. She done took the business accelerator and the certification, and she done took Clarity. And then Regina, business accelerator certification. Carmelle, business accelerator certification. And so they have all worked on themselves, right, before they started being in service to other people. And so through our programs, they have developed a lot of self-awareness, right? I'm definitely not giving myself solely the credit, but what I'm saying is I know for a fact because I was their coach and their leader. And so we talk about self-awareness. We talk about the importance of recognizing what your blind spots are. We talk about what their natural strengths are versus what are their areas for opportunity for growth. And all of us can benefit from a constant practice of learning ourselves better. And once you better understand what your strengths are, but also where your potential weaknesses are, where your opportunities for growth are, lean into that. Don't run away from that. But it's because it's probably those areas that are keeping you in a place that's not optimal. And so man, guys, you guys were so amazing. I thank you guys so much. Let's bring one takeaway up on the screen. I see Wanda. Wanda says, my takeaway, dedicate yourself to you and your passion, period. Okay. Shout
Yeah.
out to Wanda. You got to dedicate yourself to the thing you want to do. And we got to be careful with like using the language, and we're not taking these terms serious. Like dedicate is a whole nother level, right? Like, and so I know it's a common word that we hear all the time, but like, what does it mean for you to dedicate yourself to something? Shout out to Grace, who says, so settling for a life that is not my first choice. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say stop settling for a life that is not my first choice, but 100%. 100%. We have to evaluate, like, is this what I even want? Is this what I even want? Shout out to you. Come on, Sharice, always showing us love. This was awesome. You ladies were great. Thank you. Uh, we love y'all. So if you haven't
Yeah.
already, make sure you click the link that's pinned in the comments to take our chronic stress assessment. When you enter into Clarity, we'll be opening the doors for Clarity again over the next couple of weeks, probably in October. And when we do, you will have access to everybody that you see on the panel. You will have access to Coach Carmelle, who's our wellness integration specialist. You'll have access to Coach Milan, who's responsible for mindset and transformation. And you'll have access to Coach Regina, who's responsibility for accountability and leadership. Bomb, bomb, bomb. And so you'll be led by a team of people who have done what you're trying to do. We are all 100% plant based. We all have phenomenal health transformation stories, but then we also have phenomenal stories of transformation in those areas that are even tougher when it comes to relationship and career and money stuff and all of that stuff. So that's where the chronic stress comes in. And so I'm so grateful for my team, guys. This has been Clarity. This has been another phenomenal episode of Monday Morning Keynote with yours truly until next Monday. Bye, y'all.